What's up, Nitro Nation, Muggy Maniacs, jamming in the cave. Welcome all. Let's say welcome all monster truck maniacs. If you want a monster truck and you don't want to bump start that shit, you don't want to pull start that shit or rotor start it, well, here's an old classic. This is a XTM Mammoth MT monster truck. That is the monster truck version of the Muggy here. Welcome all Muggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs. Got the OG sick ass old school Mugen MBX 5R race buggy. I might break this thing out next. It's about time. Yeah, I want to run, obviously in my MBX 7. I want to run the Techno, but you know what? There's just sometimes the Muggy Maniacs just into giving the old school some attention. Okay, I love my little buggy. I am, as I told you guys, in search of a new buggy. Probably will be either. I know I've narrowed it down to 2. So either going to be a Kyosho if I can find the deal. I'd like an MP10, but I'm not. That's a lot of coin right there. Or I might get a Techno. Since I've already got a Techno Truggy, why not get a Techno Buggy? I have a Mugen Truggy and a Mugen Buggy, even though this is an old school buggy. So anyway, I've got many looks for the buggy. I've got more bodies, well, as many bodies for the buggy now as I do for the Mugen Truggy. I need to get me another Techno body. But anyway, welcome all newbies, middies, oldie but goodies. So, as you guys obviously seen the last video, which was titled XTM Mammoth ST Muggy versus Novarossi. Ever since I've got the 28.8 Novarossi, my first one, the stock one, which is what I ran in this just recently, and I got it for the XTM platform. The Novarossi and the Mammoth have just went at it, man. Most of the, except for this time, all the other times, most of the time, the stock 28.8 has wreaked havoc in this platform. That's why on my other video, if you're going to put in a big motor, okay, or a modified motor, and you're going to put it in a platform that isn't the best quality, well, be prepared. Either be prepared, like preparing that platform, or be prepared for that motor to beat the shit out of your platform, because it is. Okay. Now, when you guys seen that video, I thought there was something wrong with my diffs. Well, there's nothing wrong with my diffs, and I will show you this. See if you guys, I'll set you guys up here so you guys can see the Muggy. I will show you real quick. I thought it was my diffs. Okay, now when you spin your diffs, like here's the front, you hold one side, you should be able to turn the other side. See, I can hold this side. This is the front, turns freely. Now hold this side. Same thing. Turn. Hold this one. Turn. Oop. Okay. Well, this front diff still feels kind of it doesn't feel the smoothest, so I'm going to pull them apart anyway. The rear, hold one side, turn the other, hold this side, turn the other. Okay? Here, let me show you what the actual problem was. And there's more to this, as you guys will see. This is the center. I don't want to call it a diff because it's not. This is where center diff would go. These 2-speeds in here don't have diffs. Okay? It's a 2-speed clutch, and there's another spur gear that goes in here, and this little mechanism here has a little claw that comes out. So as it spins, the centrifugal force causes the claw to come out and it grabs the second gear. So there's not really a diff. Now they have a diff, well, they don't make it nothing anymore, but there is a diff that was made for this model that to run a single speed with a diff in it. And I'm going to look for, I've seen it before, it's around 80 bucks. Okay, if I'm going to run this center gear, single gear, I got to run a diff or I'm going to have issues, obviously. So what happened is this right here, see that screw? This is the screw or the bolt that holds in the brake pads. Well, this screw came out. See that? And this one started to come out. The whole thing almost came out. I thought I Loctited it. Maybe I didn't put enough Loctite in it. There you go. Because I didn't put enough Loctite or I didn't check it. Because before, these shocked out, and not only did the rear one, that one come out, this one here came out as well. See that? Came out completely. I'm lucky no more enough damage happened as it is. So what happened? Is that came out, and what happened is it locked. When I was running it, after I got done filming yesterday, when I was running it, this thing, whatever, either the screw or one of these, you can see how this is actually, I don't know if you can see that, the bottom part of it is actually kind of chewed up a little bit. So anyway, if I have to replace them, I got extras. So when that locked up, it locked the front of the where the spur goes to the pinion, and this was the result. This is the crank from my stock Novarossi 28.8. See this piece here? Here it is. Snap right off. Holy shit. At first, I thought maybe because the motor seized up or something like that. Well, nope. So this crank is no good. So now, because of some Loctite, which is what it comes down to, the Muggy's going to have to replace the whole crank in the Novarossi. So that's the deal. It is what it is. This motor has 3 gallons through it. It's nothing else is wrong with it, but I'm going to go ahead and rebuild it. They do make a DLC coated crank for this motor. It's about 150 bucks or so. I'm thinking about maybe, because I'm going to have to replace this crank anyway, that I might put a DLC coated crank in this stock motor. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to put in ceramic bearings. So what that'll do is let's make this stock motor better. DLC coated cranks will make your clutch bearings last a lot longer. It's just a more efficient crank. Performance will be a little bit better too. Anyway, this is what it looks like. This is the inside of a real quality motor. One of the best, if not the best, of this size. Matter of fact, it is the best. .28 wise, this is the best motor there is. Again, the LRP .32 is bigger, but it's not better quality. This is better quality than any LRP, by far. The only quality equal to this Novarossi is, like I said before, Pico and Reds. OSs are okay, but they're still rice burners. They're still made in Japan. I don't even think they're made in Japan. It says they're made in Japan, but I bet you they're made in China or Taiwan. So anyway, this is the inside of a Nova. I checked, my bearings are good. I mean, there's nothing else. This motor is like, nothing's wrong with it. So I'm cleaning it up. Bearings are still good, but like I said, if I'm going to change the crank and put a DLC coated crank maybe in here, I'm going to put ceramic bearings in it. So I'm going to have to buy a bearing puller. I mean, you can get them out without using a bearing, but that's why. You're going to risk damaging the block. You don't want to mess around. I'm going to buy I know they're not cheap. They're probably around $100. They're almost as much as a crank. Bearing, engine bearing remover. So anyway, that's the inside. This is the inside of a real quality nitro motor. Probably one of the best. That's the block. Check the button head. We're good. 3 gallons later. It's a nice copper color. That's good. Check the plug. All right, focus. Plug looks pretty fresh to me. 3 gallons through this plug. Looking good. Piston looks okay. Piston looks really fresh. Nice carbon buildup, not too much. You can tell by the rings here that I run this motor rich. Just always have. But it's good. I might change the crank, the rod. This part right here, the con rod. Since I've got 3 gallons through it. You know. So I'm just going to basically rebuild this sleeve. Here's what a real sleeve looks like. Not no LRP shit. This is a Novarossi sleeve, people. Look at that. Nothing wrong with this sleeve. Looks good to me. Quality, people. Even this crank was quality until until it broke. There's your back plate. Your back seal plate. Made in Italy. Any questions? So anyway, that's the deal on that motor. I gotta replace the crank. So I'm not bummed out. I mean, if that was the only motor I had, oh, I would be like, man, I'd probably be really depressed right now. This is the top plate to that. So the reason I'm showing you, I was showing you also this, I have decided that I am going to build me that monster truck. I have, with exception but a couple parts, I have everything to build this. This is like I said, this is the monster truck version of the Muggy. I have a lot of the upgrades. Obviously, the chassis that I have for this thing is the aftermarket one, which it's black. But I have all this. I have all those shocks, the shock tower. The one thing I'm kind of leery about, and I'll show you guys in a second, is the gearbox. Because the gearboxes are kind of chewed up, but I think they're okay. If you want to know what the Mammoth discs look like, that's what my discs look like. They're pretty much the same. And that's how they came, just like greasing them, no diff oil. But they're weird. They're not your normal Spider gears, your planetary gears. These are different, which is one of the reasons they're weak. I think they're the weakness. If I could get these diff cups in aluminum, it would eliminate a lot of the problem. Or, who knows, I might be able to fit different diffs in there. I don't know. But anyway, that's the Mammoth MT monster truck. And here is the aftermarket chassis, which I have. It's brand new, man. I got it, and I bought the whole lot because I needed some stuff for the Muggy. But this has the anodized aluminum brackets. This is for the motor mounts to go to. Matter of fact, I have the... Where are they at? I have the aluminum, anodized aluminum blue mounts that go on here. These go right here. I have, you know, the radio box that goes in here. This is where your throttle servo goes. Your steering servo goes here. I've got everything. I mean, the only thing, I don't think I have the center diff, because that's what I bought this thing for, because the center diff, I needed it at the time for the Muggy. But yeah, I mean, this thing is like, I mean, look at the bottom of it. Virgin. So I decided that, you know, I was going to sell it and part it out, but you know what? Why not? Why not build me a, you know, monster truck? I will have to find that body or some other kind of body. I doubt if I'll find the original body. I mean, they don't make these anymore. It's discontinued like 13 years ago. So anyway, these are the actual, these are the front and rear gear boxes. Here's one of the diffs. Right here. This is what they look like. I mean, this one's needs to be, I need to put diff fluid and all that. So anyway, that's something that, you know, I'm thinking about. I'm going to clean these up some more. This is the original, these are the original center towers. These are aluminum. These ones here that I have on here, these are billet 70-75 aluminum. Just these two pieces here were like 40-50 bucks just for these two pieces of aluminum. They replaced these because I didn't like the fact of having plastic in the center diff where basically all your power is going through. I mean, I spent in this whole, to build this whole center diff with these towers, the two steel gears, and the top plate, which I just showed you guys, which is this piece right here. And it has bearings in it and everything. It was about 100 bucks. Or no, I'm sorry, 100 bucks. This was 40 bucks. It was about $200. For me to build this center diff, this isn't stock, for the steel gears, the towers, the aluminum towers, and this top plate, it was about $200. That's close to what I paid for this whole platform. That's why I would never sell the Muggy. And I might, you know, I might retire. What I might do is I have another LRP that I'm getting, or I'm getting an LRP modded. I might run a stock LRP .32 in this thing. After I get done tearing it down, rebuilding it, the next time, this might be sometime next week. Because I have an LRP 32 that's getting modded by Rick. And also I have another one that I'm going to keep. And keep it stock. Obviously I'm going to have to pull it apart, polish out the sleeve, the sleeves because of the port work. I might do a little bit of modifying myself. I know how to do it. I just have never really done it because I never really had the tools. I do now. I might modify an LRP .32, nothing crazy, and run it in this thing. So, for the meantime, I don't know how long it's going to take me to track down a crank, motor crank for the 28.8. Hopefully I can find one. I haven't really looked. But anyway, that's the latest thing that's going on with the Muggy. And that just goes to show you, man, you need to make sure that you Loctite everything. Everything. I've even Loctited plastic shit before. You want to make sure that you prep your vehicle for bigger motors. Don't just throw, you know, a Novarossi or an LRP, even stock ones, or even a .25 in a platform that's not really that weak, okay? Address its weaknesses. And I know the main weakness in this thing is the diffs. I might try thickening up the diff oil. I don't know if that's going to make it to where it's less stress on the gears or more. I would think more by putting thicker diff fluid in it, because I've got 50K in the front, 50K in the back. When I rebuild these front and rear diffs, I might throw 60 in the back and 60 in the front, just to see. It has no center diff, so, and I'm going to look and see if I'm thinking of tracking down a center diff. But anyway, that's what's going on. So, Muggy, XTM Muggy versus Nova. Well, that last battle was a draw, because obviously some carnage happened to the XTM, the brakes thing, and I think the front diff is suspect. It still feels a little rough compared to the back. Back's okay. The front still feels a little rough, but I guess the Muggy fought back this time. The XTM punched Novarossi back in the mouth, because the front end of as you've seen, the front end of the crank snapped off. Man, that sucks. You know, oh well, it is what it is. Like I said, I've got other motors, so it's not my only motor. But who knows? I was thinking just for now, I might take the Reds, modified Reds, and run it in the Muggy. See if it can handle that. You know, it's not as much torque, so it might be, you know, who knows? We'll experiment. We'll see if a modified .21 can push that fat pig over there. I guess we'll find out, won't we? So anyway, that's all that's going on. A quick update. I've got to get back to wrenching. By the way, the Muggy Maniac, if you guys are here, I would let you guys have some of my homemade Italian sauce with, haven't decided the noodles. It's either going to be spaghetti noodles, or I like rigatoni, mozzarella, penne, pasta noodles. I don't know. That's my homemade sauce, because, you know, the Muggy Maniac likes to cook. So, you know, while I'm wrenching in here, got a little bit of Italian food to go with wrenching on an Italian motor. So why not, right? So that's what's going on in the cave. Muggy's got a little bit of work to do. I was gonna try to do some wrapping today, but you know, I got to get this thing torn down and at least get this thing back to where it needs to be. Get it set up. Put the thicker diff oil in there. We'll see what happens. And get on the frickin' the website here and start looking for a crank for the 28.8. So anyway, that's all that's going on with the Muggy. This sick ass Techno, it's got the modified Pico .28. It's ready to rock and roll. And as well, the MBX 7, looking all sexy with the new Joker body. Oh, by the way, I gotta cut out, I almost forgot, I gotta cut out the hole in here so I can fuel the thing up. Otherwise I can't put fuel in it while the body's on. Gotta cut a hole in here, do that. But I cut this one here. I think I gotta make this one for the pipe a little bit bigger, because it seems like it's still kind of touching. But anyway, yeah, so who knows? We'll see. Muggy will project XTM Mammoth monster truck. And like I said, the cool thing about this monster truck is there ain't be no pull start bullshit or no rotor start shit. This is a monster truck that you can bump start. Okay? That's the only monster truck I'm going to have, is the one that you can bump start. You know, none of the pull start, rotor start bullshit monster trucks. That ain't happening. Never. So anyway, that's all I got, people. Shout out to all my brothers. Mr. All About Nitro, Mr. Whipkey, Mr. Vincent out there. You know, all those guys out there that are, you know, all the newbies and all the youngins, you know, out there. You youngsters out there, okay? Remember, the only dumb question is the one you don't ask. If you guys need any help, have any questions, one of the guys I want to mention before I end this video asked me about fuel. Okay, I'm maybe going to do a video coming up and explain to you. Like, I've ran, here, this is a perfect example. I run, the only fuel that I run, and will only run, and I've tried a lot of them. I even still have VP down here. The only fuel I will ever run is that fuel right there. Breaking in my motors, Byron's 2011. 30%, 11. And plus I add a little bit of Marvel Mistral, and I add a little bit of Novarossi engine oil, and I get it to my 30%. I run probably around a 13% lubrication. Okay, I like to run more lubrication because I want to protect my motor from anything happening to it. Although you can't protect from the end of the crank snapping off. Well, yeah, you can. Put Loctite on your shit. That's how you protect that. So anyway, a guy asked me what fuel do I use. He could only get Traxxas. Traxxas, I would not use that shit on my lawnmower. Traxxas has got to be the worst fuel out there. And if you're using Traxxas, shame on you. The only exception you have is because you don't know better and you're a newbie. Okay? But if you're not a newbie and you're running Traxxas, man, you obviously don't do your homework. Got to stir my sauce up here. Sorry, people. Can you smell that? Ah, it smells so bomb. That shit smells the bomb, people. Oh, yeah. Garlic bread. Little salad on the side. Oh, snaps. Muggy Maniac is cooking it up. So anyway, I run Byron's only. I mean, here's an example. This is 3 gallons of Byron. There's the button head. 3 gallons of Byron. Okay. Here you go. Here's the plug. Here you go. Three gallons of Byron. And this is running it rich. Okay? 3 gallons of Byron's. 3 gallons of Byron's. Get my picture? I hope you can see that. I only run Byron's. If you want to run whatever you want. If you've been running something for years and you never had, you know, I know Raja 111. Shout out to you, by the way, Raja. Shout out to Elite RC, my brother. Haven't heard from him in a while. Hope everything's all good. I know I'll hear from him soon. We talk periodically. Shout out to Mr. Za in your Fitzgill adventures and all that. But, yeah, Byron's Gen 2 3011 is all I run. Raja runs that Torco. He swears by that. You know, if you can't get Byron's, if you can only get Traxxas, I'm not going to tell you go ahead and run Traxxas because that's all you're going to get. You need to find anything other than Traxxas. Okay? Traxxas is garbage. You're going to get rust buildup in your motor because it's got a lot. It's just shitty fuel. Okay? So don't use it. If you use Traxxas and you never had any problems and everything's kosher, then hey, don't listen to me. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you use is working for you. I'm just telling you, this is what I use, and I've just showed you the proof of what I use and how it burns. I mean, no problem. I mean, even the crank, you know. So that's my take on fuel. You know, use whatever you want. I use Byron's. That's it. So anyway. That's all I got, people. Muggy Maniac's out. Let me get back to wrenching and get back to about ready to do some grubbing too. So that's all I got. If you guys have any other questions or anything, hit me up. Some of you guys, have my email, and Facebook me if you want. My name's Kurt Hernandez, Kurt Hernandez. Most of you guys know that. Some of you guys know that by now. You can always Facebook me. I'll friend you as long as I feel you're legit. If you're not into this if you're not full on into nitro, then there's really nothing I can do for you, except eventually weed you off my channel. I'm just playing. Anyway, that's all I got, people. Peace, I'm out.